Hi, and welcome back to my channel. I think of every Monday as a fresh start and an opportunity to ensure that I'm focusing my efforts in the right direction. This requires a solid weekly plan, which starts with a bit of flexible forethought. Enter my weekly reset. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my 5-step weekly reset process and how I set myself up for a productive work week. Stay tuned until step number 5 if you want to know the most recent addition to my weekly reset. I've been working on managing my energy before my schedule, which is why I complete my weekly resets on Friday afternoons. On Friday afternoons, I tend to be low on energy and willpower, which means this is a bad time for deep focus work. And a structured weekly reset routine allows me to utilize this time while accounting for my low energy. Conversely, on Monday mornings, I tend to be well rested and eager to get started, so having an action plan ready to go would be the best utilization of this high energy time. Whether I'm working from home or in the office, the first step in my weekly reset is to clean up my physical space. I take the time to sort miscellaneous objects, put belongings back in their homes, wipe down countertops, and reset my surroundings. It's amazing how much outer order can contribute to internal clarity. Next, I take the time to follow up on open items that are awaiting a response or require something from someone else before I can take action on them. I keep these waiting on items in 2 locations. I keep a waiting on folder in my email system for email responses I'm waiting for, and this is the time where I send follow-up emails as required, or if I've noticed that I've sent 2 or more follow-ups without an adequate response, I choose an alternative means of contacting the person, like maybe a phone call or even a walk to their desk. I also keep a waiting on list in my Notion dashboard, and I follow the same steps to follow up on items in this list. I might send an email like, hey, I'm just following up on the equipment reservation we discussed last Thursday, or I might go ahead and make a phone call or plan out a visit. Step 3 in my weekly reset is a review and prioritization of my to-do list. I start this one on Notion where I check off all of my completed tasks. I do a brain dump of any additional tasks I can think of as I review my to-do list. And lastly, I review my to-do folder in my email manager to ensure that I've captured all actionable tasks. Then I sort all of my new tasks into a prioritized task manager. Each task is evaluated as being high or low on urgency and importance. For me, urgency means that it's due in the next week, and importance can mean a variety of things. It's either important to my professional career, it's important to a specific project, or it's important to the organization. I use these labels to sort out my to-do list into 4 lists in a 2x2 matrix, which leads me to step 4 in my weekly reset, my calendar review. I review the next 2 weeks in my calendar. Whenever I get a task with a due date in the future, I place both the due date and my personal milestones into the calendar. So if I have a report that's due in 1 month, but it will require 1 week of edits from my boss and 2 weeks to write, I place all those due dates into the calendar. So I'll place a reminder in my calendar 3 weeks before the due date, reminding me to get started on the report. I'll also add a due date for getting the report to my boss for his final edits, and then I have the actual report due date. So when I review the next 2 weeks, it ensures that I have the right level of visibility on my upcoming tasks and due outs. When I'm reviewing my calendar, I'm looking at 2 things. Not just what's coming up, but also when I have pockets of white space or openings in my schedule. This is where I block out time to ensure that my to-do list becomes scheduled actions in my weekly plan. I start out with scheduling tasks that are high importance and high urgency. That's followed by things that are low importance but high urgency. Because if these items have made it onto this list at this point, it means that I was unable to delegate or delete these items from my list, and they need to get done this week. Therefore, I need to go ahead and schedule them in and knock these out. Then I get to the good stuff where I schedule in things that are of high importance but low priority. And theoretically, if I have extra time, I can move on to the low urgency, low important tasks, but this rarely happens, except maybe sometimes when I'm working over the holiday season or there's just a general lull in my workflow. By this step in the process, I have a thoughtful plan for next week, and I'm ready to hit the ground running on Monday morning. Okay, the last and final task is my newest addition to my weekly reset, and that is resetting my digital space. Once I'm done getting my future self all set up with my schedule, I want to make sure that there are no distractions when I sit down to start working. So I take this time to organize my digital space. I delete anything on my desktop that's no longer needed, sort and file anything that I will need in the future, and maybe even change my desktop background to complete my reset. If you're interested in my entire work system, including how I manage projects, meeting minutes, and work notes, check out my video on my Notion workflow. And if you're interested in upcoming videos and how I schedule my week or other life systems, click on the picture of me hiding behind the blue book. Until next time, guys, make plans and prepare to modify.